After releasing 3 back-to-back episodes that had fans hooked, NCIS Tony and Ziva has slowed things down to weekly releases. And trust me, Episode 4, Wedding Crashers, makes the wait worth it. We're back in Paris, where Tony Donazo and Ziva David are trying to live a quiet life with their daughter Tali. But, as we all know, peace never lasts long for this couple. This time, the story pulls us into an elaborate sting operation disguised as a wedding, flashbacks that reveal long-hidden truths, and finally, the Kiss fans have been waiting years to see. Episode 4 picks up right where we left off. Instead of continuing to chase leads, Tony and Ziva take control of the situation. Their new plan? Bait Interpol agent Martine into showing her hand by hijacking Boris and Fruzy's wedding? The setup is clever. Using a voice clone, Boris fakes a threatening call to Martine, forcing her to keep tabs on him. That's how they ensure she'll attend the wedding. But instead of a guest list filled with friends and family, the pews are packed with paroled prisoners that Boris hacked into the system. Already, it's a classic Tony and Ziva plan. Bold, messy, and just crazy enough to work. But this episode isn't all action. Throughout the setup, small moments trigger memories for Tony and Ziva. A lilac decoration brings Ziva back to a day in the park, years earlier, when she panicked after a stranger handed Tali a cupcake. The flashback shows us just how much fear Ziva carries when it comes to protecting her daughter. Later that same day, she witnesses Tony's quiet patience as he comforts Tali through a nightmare and changes her wet sheets without missing a beat. It's here that Ziva truly realizes how much she's missed of Tali's childhood and how present Tony has been. What follows is one of the most emotional scenes in the spin-off so far. Tony asks Ziva to move in with them, and then, in a moment fans have only dreamed of, he proposes. Ziva says yes. These flashbacks are more than just filler. They're the heart of the story, showing us what Tony and Ziva once had and what they stand to lose. Back in the present day, the faux wedding is underway. Ziva steps in as the bride, Tony as the groom. For a moment, you could almost believe it's real. The way they look at each other in wedding attire is electric. But of course, no NCIS wedding goes smoothly. Just as everything seems on track, the police storm in and arrest Fruzy. Shockingly, this isn't a legal arrest. It's a fake, a kidnapping staged by Martine's allies. Suddenly, the carefully planned trap spirals into chaos. Tony, Ziva, Boris, and Claudette scramble to keep the plan alive. Boris grows frantic about Fruzy, while Ziva keeps her focus on Martine. Then the real Henry bursts in, loudly objecting to the ceremony, and the whole scene explodes. Prisoner guests scatter, chaos fills the church, and the operation teeters on the edge of collapse. What follows is classic NCIS-style action. Ziva engages Henry in a brutal fight, proving once again why she's one of the most formidable agents in the franchise. Meanwhile, Tony faces off against Fruzy's kidnapper in a nearby building. The fight is brutal, tense, and close. But Tony manages to turn the tables, using the attacker's own momentum to send him crashing out a window into the river below. Ziva, equally relentless, takes down Henry, and together, they corner Martine just as she thinks she's getting away. They grab her phone and her bag, securing the evidence they need, then make a daring escape. Tony's tux torn, Ziva's wedding dress ripped, both of them rushing onto a waiting yacht. And then, after years of longing looks, stolen moments, and unresolved tension, it finally happens. On the deck of that yacht, bruised, battered, and still dressed for a wedding, Tony and Ziva share their first real kiss in years. It's not just a romantic moment, it's a payoff to more than a decade of storytelling. Fans who have waited since their Navy Yard days finally get the moment they've dreamed of. And the way the show builds to it, with flashbacks of a proposal, with chaos at a wedding, with a daring escape, makes it feel completely earned. Episode 4 proves NCIS. Tony and Ziva is more than just a spin-off. It's a story about family, trust, and second chances, wrapped in all the action and espionage we love from the NCIS universe. And if this kiss is only the beginning, then the rest of the season is going to be one unforgettable ride. So what do you think? Was this kiss worth the wait? And do you believe Tony and Ziva are finally on the road to a full reunion? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns of NCIS, Tony and Ziva.